Okay. You want me to sit down? Alright, I'll read your book and you can do my hair. And then you get to read me this book back to me then.
No!
Later. That's why I'm reading it to you. I read to you, then you read to me. That's the deal. Got it?
Tomorrow.
Alright, here we go.
Sit on the teddy bear.
I'm on the teddy bear.
Right here.
Alright. I can read. Amelia Bedelia goes camping. Okay, if you're gonna, can I sit on the floor then? Because you're gonna try to.
Sit on the chair.
Sit on the chair? No, I'll sit on the floor. That way you can reach me, okay? There you go, how's that?
Here.
Look, now you can reach me. Okay? Ow. That doesn't mean butcher me, that means... Alright. Ready? There you go. Okay, here we go. This is called Amelia Bedelia Goes Camping by Peggy Parrish. Pictures by Lynn Sweet. Alright, let's get over here. Amelia by Pictures by Lynn Sweet. HarperCollins publisher.
Daddy?
Yeah?
Could you get your hair a little bit wet?
No.
Here, I'll be right back.
What are you getting now?
I'll be right back.
You know what, read to you, that's the hardest thing in the world to do, to read to you. What the heck? For Rebecca and Alex Gushin, with love, Pee-Pee. To James Baker, L.S. You coming? What are you trying to do? Oh.
Get your hair wet a little bit.
You want me to get that little pink bottle out for you?
What?
That pink bottle?
I can get it.
I don't think you can reach it, sweet.
Yes, I can, Daddy.
You can reach it?
I can reach it.
Alright.
See?
Alright. Don't get any on the book, okay?
Hold
Alright.
on.
Here we go. Hurry up, Amelia Bedelia, called Mr. Rogers. I'm coming, said Amelia Bedelia. Did we get everything? Asked Mrs. Rogers. I would say so, said Amelia Bedelia. Good, said Mr. Rogers. It's time to hit the road. Hit the road? Asked Amelia Bedelia. All right. She picked up a stick, and Amelia Bedelia hit the road. What's she doing, Gracie?
Actually hitting the road.
That's right. Stop that, shouted Mr. Rogers. Get into the car. Amelia Bedelia got into the car. I'm so excited, she said. I've never been camping. You will have fun, said Mrs. Rogers. They rode for a long time. Finally, Mr. Rogers stopped the car. Wake up, Amelia Bedelia, said Mrs. Rogers. This is it. Amelia Bedelia looked all around. But where is the camp? She asked. The camp is in the car, said Mr. Rogers. In the car, said Amelia Bedelia. We're going to camp in the car? The things we need to make the camp are in the car, said Mr. Rogers. Make the camp, said Amelia Bedelia. We have to make the camp? Just forget it, said Mr. Rogers. I'll put up the tent here. We can pitch it later. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. Now, when he says pitch a tent, that means put up a tent. Okay? But what do you think she thinks it means?
Pitch.
It means throw it out. Now, let's have some fun, said Mr. Rogers. Let's catch some fish. I've never caught fish, said Amelia Bedelia. Is it like catching a ball? Mr. Rogers laughed. It's more fun, he said. I'll show you how. Did you bring any cookies? Asked Miss Rogers. Yes, said Amelia Bedelia. I made up a new kind. Amelia Bedelia got the cookies. Chocolate, said Miss Rogers. My favorite. He took a bite. They're so crunchy, he said. That's the potato chips, said Amelia Bedelia. I do love potato chips. I put a whole bag. I call them chocolate chip cookies. Get it? Chocolate chip cookies? Did she put chips in there? Instead of chips of chocolate? Mr. and Mrs. Rogers looked at each other. Call them what you like, said Mrs. Rogers. Just make them often. Bring them along and follow me, said Mr. Rogers. Let's find a good fishing spot. They walked along the bank. After a bit, Mr. Rogers stopped. He looked at the water. "This looks good," he said. Amelia Bedelia stopped. "I see one. I see a fish," she said. "I'll catch it." "Wait," said Mr. Rogers. But Mr. Rogers was too late. Amelia Bedelia was in the water. What's she doing, Gracie?
She's swimming.
No, she's trying to catch the fish. With her hands. You don't catch a fish with your hands. "Here, fishy! Here, fishy!" she called. Then she grabbed the fish. "I caught it!" she yelled. "What a big one!" said Mrs. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia looked at the fish. The fish looked at Amelia Bedelia. "All right," said Amelia Bedelia. "Away you go." The fish swam away. "Amelia Bedelia!" yelled Mr. Rogers. "Why did you do that?" Amelia Bedelia looked surprised. "Why not?" she said. "You just said to catch a fish. I did that." "Oh, go away," said Mr. Rogers. "Thank you," said Amelia Bedelia. "I am wet. I do need to change." Amelia Bedelia started to leave. "Oh, Amelia Bedelia," said Mrs. Rogers. "Please start a fire in the grill." "Use pine cones to start it," said Mr. Rogers. "And put on some coffee." "All right," said Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia walked to the car. She changed into dry clothes. "Now," said Amelia Bedelia, "I'll surprise Mr. Rogers. I'll pitch that tent." She walked over to the tent. "Shoot," said Amelia Bedelia, "I can't even lift it." "Need some help?" said someone. Amelia Bedelia turned around. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Harry," said one boy. "I'm Mike," said the other boy. "I'm Amelia Bedelia," said Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia said, "Harry, we've heard about you." "You have?" said Amelia Bedelia. "That's nice. Now will you help me pitch this tent?" "Where do you want to pitch it?" asked Mike. "The big thing is to pitch it," said Amelia Bedelia. "It came down where it wants to go." The boys grinned at each other. "Okay, let's do it," said Harry. They cut hold of the tent. They all picked it up. And they pitched the tent. "Hooray!" said Amelia Bedelia. "We did it. Maybe we should pitch it again," said Mike. "Why?" said Amelia Bedelia. "It's in the bushes," said Harry. "That's a good place for it," said Amelia Bedelia. "It's out of the way." "Hey," said Mike, "Mom is calling us." "Thank you for helping me," said Amelia Bedelia. She watched the boys go. "I had better get that fire started," said Amelia Bedelia. She got some wood and pine cones and put them in the grill. "Live and learn," said Amelia Bedelia. "I didn't know pine cones could start a fire." "I want to see this," Amelia Bedelia sat down. She waited and waited, but the fire did not start. Suddenly she jumped up. "The coffee," she said. "I forgot to put on the coffee." Uh-oh, what's she going to do with the coffee, Gracie?
I don't know.
She poured the coffee on the pine cones. "Now it should start," she said. So she thinks by pouring the coffee on the pine cones, the fire will start. I don't think that's going to work, do you? Gracie, what are you doing?
Stop it.
Stop it, my head's wet. Mr. and Mrs. Rogers walked up. "Why isn't the fire burning?" said Mrs. Rogers. "The pine cones haven't started it yet," said Amelia Bedelia. "Did you try using a match?" asked Mr. Rogers. "You didn't tell me to do that," said Amelia Bedelia. "Never mind, I'll do it," said Mr. Rogers. "You put on some coffee." "I did," said Amelia Bedelia. "Didn't I put on enough?" Where'd she put the coffee at, Grace? She tried to put it on top of the pine cones. Remember, she poured it on. "Oh, go jump in a lake," said Mr. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia stamped her foot. "I will not," she said. "I have no more dry clothes." Mr. Rogers laughed. "You win," he said. "Can you row a boat?" "Certainly," said Amelia Bedelia. "Use any of the boats," said Mr. Rogers. "Have fun." Amelia Bedelia found the boats. "I'll just use all of them," she said. She pushed the boats this way and that. The boats were rowed. Now, do you understand what she means by rowed the boat? When you row a boat, what do?
You ride it.
You take the oars and you pull and push and it moves you in the water, okay? Now, if you spell row R-O-W and you line them in a row, what do? You put them in a row like that. So when you row a boat, what do you think they mean? That means row with the oars, right, Gracie?
Stop moving.
That means row, you know, she didn't row with the oars. She put the boats in an actual row. That's why they said she rowed them. She put them in a row. Just like when your desks at school, are they in a row? Gracie? The desks at school, are they in a row?
Yeah.
All right. Amelia Bedelia went back to Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. "That was fun," she said. "What is next?" "I need the tent stakes," said Mr. Rogers. "I'll get them," said Amelia Bedelia. She ran to the car. She brought back a package. "Here," said Amelia Bedelia. Mr. Rogers opened the package. "What in tarnation?" he said. "Didn't I cut them right?" asked Amelia Bedelia. "They look like tents to me." You know, steaks, as in meat steaks. There's also steaks that you put in the ground to hold the tent down. She thought he meant steaks as in the food. Get it? "How am I going to pinch the tent?" asked Mr. Rogers. "Don't fret," said Amelia Bedelia. "I pitched the tent." Mr. Rogers looked. "Where's the tent?" he asked. "In the bushes," said Amelia Bedelia. "Just where it landed." "That does it," shouted Mr. Rogers. He stamped off. Mrs. Rogers went after him. "Why is he so upset?" asked Amelia Bedelia. "I was just trying to help him." Mr. and Mrs. Rogers came back. "It's all right, Amelia Bedelia," said Mrs. Rogers. "We can sleep under the stars." "I'll help you get the sleeping bags," said Mr. Rogers. "I can do it," said Amelia Bedelia. She went to the car. Amelia Bedelia came back slowly. She was carrying some bags. "Shh," she whispered. "I think they are sleeping." "But how can you tell?" Get it? Sleeping bags. And she got...
Bags that are sleeping.
She thinks those bags are sleeping, aren't they? What's a sleeping bag? You've got one, don't you?
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Rogers started at Amelia Bedelia. Then Mr. Rogers said, "Never mind, Amelia Bedelia. I'll get this camp ship-shape," said Mr. Rogers. "That sounds like fun," said Amelia Bedelia. "What kind of ship-shape will we make?" "You have done enough," said Mr. Rogers. "I'll do this." Amelia Bedelia walked away. "I don't know much about camping," she said, "but I do know one thing. It's time to eat." Amelia Bedelia bustled around. She did this and that. Finally, she had everything ready. Mr. and Mrs. Rogers called Amelia Bedelia. "It's time to eat." "I'm sure ready," said Mrs. Rogers. She and Mr. Rogers came. "Fried chicken, stuffed eggs," said Mr. Rogers. "What a feast!" All three ate and ate. "Now I'm stuffed," said Mr. Rogers. "There's one more thing," said Amelia Bedelia. "I'll go and get it." Soon she came back singing, "Happy birthday to you." "My birthday," said Mr. Rogers. "I forgot my birthday." "Blow out the candle," said Mrs. Rogers, "and cut the cake." Mr. Rogers did just that. Then he said, "Amelia Bedelia, this is the best camping trip ever. Amelia Bedelia smiled. Let's do it again, she said. I do love camping. The end. What do you think?
I like it.
You get to read it next.
Not right now.
Not right now. Gracie, never be afraid to open up a book and do your best at trying to read it. Because you know what? When you find those books you like, they'll get easier and easier to read. You know that? Look at this one. Let's see some of these books back here. This is Frog and Toad Are Friends. I think we have that one, don't we?
No, we have a movie of it.
We also have the book. Amelia Bedelia and the Surprise Shower. In a Dark Room and Other Scary Stories. A Bargain for Francis. Mouse Soup. And Zach's Alligator. What do you think?
Let's have a tea party.
You know what? I see something down here I need. Let's see here. Let me see this right here. Good. All right. Hey, come here, Squirt. Come here. I love you.
Love you.
Wait. All right. No, come on. I just meant. Easy.
Hey, stay right there. No, stay right there.
What are you doing?
Ah, right here.
Ow. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Duck your head. Duck your head. Duck your head. There you go. See, you gotta duck your head so you can hurt your neck.
Hey,
What? Do what again? Gracie, you're gonna get dirty. Come on now.
Hey.
What? What? Ow! Duck and roll, duck and roll. There you go. Alright, that's enough.
Now tea party.
Now, let's get up. We gotta see what time it is and stuff. Come on, stand up. Stand up so I can get up. I don't even know what time it is. Brush your hair one more time, will you please?
No.
Use the king brush. Use your princess brush, the big one. Hey, you don't hit people with those. Especially in the face.
Sorry.
That's alright, I forgive you. I love it. Alright.